Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into some PvP with Olin the Orien, the new Super Sugo, to arrive for part 2 of the Gear 5 celebration. Alongside Kid Law, we did bring we did bring Big Mom into some PvP with a Dex-based team. Now, Big Mom is built for Dex-based content. However, she's also a powerhouse-driven character, which means that we can do some really fun stuff with powerhouse and driven teams. So in today's video, we are focusing on the powerhouse class, and I have two teams. One is the Dex powerhouse team, and the other one is going to be a straight powerhouse team. This is a bit of a Sanji Judge showcase as well for their PvP. I will get around to doing an actual game mode video for them, but as you guys will see down below, we did bring them on the team. They do buff Powerhouse, but with Big Mom, she actually boosts Dex. She doesn't give any buffs to Powerhouse, but the rest of the team we have, they definitely do. We have Pell, who's buffing Dex and Powerhouse units. We have Blackbeard, who's buffing Powerhouse. Jumanji, who's buffing Powerhouse. And then Who's Who, that's buffing Powerhouse as well. As for our bench, we did bring Porkme, which is a very, very good Powerhouse booster as well. Great with fixed damage. Then we have Blue Jam, who's a great nuker. And then we have King, just for his nuking capabilities. As also, he is a powerhouse character as well. So the team does have a bit of synergy. It's not the be-all or end-all, though. It did very well in some of these challenge fights. That's what we're going into today with our PvP structure. We are taking on the Orochi PvP fight first and seeing how we go up against the driven powerhouse meta. The one team that I did find that this team struggled heavily with challenges is Strength and like Kuma, Kid, King, those types of characters. But it did still do very, very well here and there. It's just not like a game-breaking or meta-breaking team. As you can see, though, we did manage to get through the driven powerhouse team, or the more driven-centric team, fairly nicely. And speaking of Orochi, he's actually a really good unit that you could include on this team. But I really wanted to bring Jumanji. I thought it'd be a lot of fun slapping them in the middle, getting that crazy attack boost that they can do. 32 attack, 36 with Big Mom, and just go absolutely AWOL. On to the next fight. So yes, Big Mom does boost Dex. However, like I said, she can reap the benefits of the buffs that Powerhouse provide because she has such an amazing special. Her special on a 35-second cooldown, which is a little bit high, but it's not the end of the world, does 100% chance to inflict half stats to all enemies in a large range, sideways range for 15 seconds, and then deals 3.4 times her attack in damage to all enemies in a large sideways range. So basically, any unit that is getting the half stats is then going to take 3.4 times her attack in damage. Now remember, she halves the defense, which means that 3.4 is a lot stronger than what it is on paper. Plus, she has a monstrous attack stat. She hits incredibly hard, and she can do absolute bits of just wiping teams, on top of lowering the attack of the enemy, so you guys take a lot less damage. Because she does buff Dex, however, she does work better on Dex-based teams, and giving this half stats to Dex characters means that you can do a lot of very cool stuff. However, we have a character on the team with Who's Who and Pell, who both can output a lot of damage, and Jumanji can output a lot of damage too. So the way that I wanted to try and do this was have Big Mom go after Sanji Judge, so that way we get the attack buff, sitting at 40 attack, which is nuts. Blackbeard is going to lower the defense, and then we can have Big Mom to come in. I was hoping before Who's Who, so that way Who's Who gets that big shot with the half defense. But we just want to see how much damage we can output with Big Mom here. We lost Who's Who there, which is a little bit annoying because we lost a bunch of attack. But Porkme is actually going to come in and actually give us some. We did lose about 4, but look, it's not the end of the world. Big Mom hitting there for 17k, which is just absolutely nuts. Coming up against Quick, the Blue Jam fight is actually still fairly challenging. It's not the hardest, kind of like what Pell used to be, but with a bunch of Dex characters, we were always going to be in a really, really good spot against it. But the upside, too, is when you halve stats, Pell just goes absolutely ballistic. And Pell can now hit for like 7k per shot, which is just absolutely nuts. So Big Mom's special is what makes her such an amazing PvP unit. And bringing that, not only to Powerhouse, but to Dex-based teams, makes her so incredibly valuable for those said teams. The second team that we're going to show in this video is actually... Oh, sorry, Jumanji does have fixed damage. I don't know what I'm talking about. The second team that we're going to show, in this video is actually the Dex more powerhouse-centric build. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys like to run with Big Mom. Are you just liking the generic Dex team? Have you tried something like Powerhouse? Or are you using more Dex powerhouse-centric builds? So as I mentioned, Big Mom does buff Dex. Her passive is built around the Dex typing, and she gives level 6 attack and speed to Dex characters, and then she gives level 5 defense and crit to Dex characters as well. On top of that, for the first 3 times that she takes damage, she applies a level 2 attack buff to herself, so you can cap this out at 6, which is awesome. Apologies about that. She does cap out at 6 extra attack, which means that her 3.7 is going to be hitting a lot harder. Now, we did take on Fuji. It's another quick-based fight. I just wanted to show, like, how the Dex team goes up against Quick. It does very well, but obviously there are just characters that nerf Quick completely in the Dex typing, which will probably work a little bit nicer. However, you have stuff like Queen, you have stuff like Dalton, you have stuff like Blackbeard, you have V1 Blackbeard, you have Lucci. You can just literally run any Dex character you want on the team with Big Mom. You can use stuff like Luffy's. Pell is an absolute monster because Pell not only buffs Dex, but he also buffs Powerhouse, and that's sort of what I was sort of going with here. The combination of Big Mom and Pell buffing the entire team with Pell's buff makes everything work incredibly nicely. Now, I decided to use Queen on this team. You could easily take off Blackbeard and bring on maybe something like Lucci for some more damage, or maybe you could even use V1 Blackbeard for some HP cutting shenanigans, especially when you are versing something like Quick or you're versing something like Strength. But Queen just provides a lot of bulk because you get a lot more HP, plus the action binding can sort of just keep you going, so that way when Big Mom pops her special off, you are going to be doing a lot of damage, and then Pell can kind of just clean up the scraps. 5k fixed damage that Queen provides is actually very strong as well. Plus, Dalton is a very good hitter as well. Dalton hits very, very hard. He also nerfs the quick typing, which means that you can get a lot of damage output there. And Dalton being a powerhouse as well means that you can do some really, really nice stuff. So, the Fuji fight is nowhere near as challenging as something like Blue Jam and all those other stuff, but I wanted to include it anyway just because this particular build wasn't exactly my favorite. The powerhouse one neither. I feel like running straight Dex with Big Mom is going to be her main draw, especially when you take her into Grand Party. Now, as of me recording this video, Grand Party does start today. Her Grand Party is built up around Dex characters. She gives level 5 attack, level 3 defense, and level 3 CT speed to Dex units, and then she gives level 4 HP speed and guard to Driven and Powerhouse. Now, Dex have a lot of Driven and Powerhouse characters as their core. Hell, with Big Mom as your leader, you could even make two Dex teams that work exceptionally well, and then just bring a Driven Powerhouse team. That way you can sort of build out a sort of more Powerhouse buildy Dex team, and then just run like a generic Dex team with like Luffy's, with stuff like Yamato. You could run some more like quick nerfing, but the amount of Driven characters and Powerhouse characters that are littered throughout Dex is actually crazy. On top of that, Driven Powerhouse are incredibly powerful as well. You have stuff like Blue Jam, Porkamy. The new Kid Law actually works really, really well. And you could just build out like a Driven team or more of a Powerhouse team and run that under Big Mom too. The thing about running Big Mom as your GP leader though, is she's only giving level 4 HP speed and guard to Driven or Powerhouse. If they're a Driven and Powerhouse character, like Big Mom herself, you're not getting the double stacks. You're not getting 8 HP, 8 speed, 8 guard. You're still only getting 4. But with Dex, you're getting all of the buffs. You're getting the attack buff, the defense buff, the CT buff, and it all works out incredibly nicely. I do wish that it was like all the Dex stuff was in one, and then it had like Driven, and then it had Powerhouse as well. But look, beggars can't be choosers, and choosers never get what they want. So I'm pretty happy with what she's providing as a passive, and I'm really keen to try her out today in Grand Party. Her special as well, or her burst, is very easy to attain. All you have to do is use 5 Rumble specials, and she deals 3 times her attack in damage to all enemies 2 times. On top of that, if you use it in the first 30 seconds, she gives you a 100% chance to inflict half stats for 20 seconds. Now, if the half stats goes before the damage, you basically can just pop this special on turn 1 and put yourself in a position where you've almost guaranteed the win straight off the bat. Now, this is going to charge stuff like Roger's Burst and other characters that need to take damage, but halving stats and then doing 3 times this monster's attack in damage twice is actually disgusting to think about. You have the ability at this point to basically just board wipe the entire team just with one special. If you come up against a flimsy team like Slashers or even Free Spirit early before they start getting going with all their defensive buffs, you could just take out some like core components. And if the team doesn't have a good bench, like a 5-man Free Spirit team or a 5-man Slasher team, you'll just put yourself in a box position to absolutely decimate them on like the second or the third fight. On top of that, you can use this twice. You can actually use it twice. So you can pop it like bink it first time, have all your specials go off, and then right before the 30 seconds ends, bink it again, and guarantee yourself a win on a fight that could clutch you out that third match. So very, very interesting stuff with Big Mom. I'm very excited to use her in Grand Party, but using her in Rumble is an absolute demon mode. She's so goddamn good in Rumble that it just blows me away that decks now have abilities to something like half stats, which really increases their damage output. You see Pell hitting for 11k, 11,000 damage, and then Big Mom comes in and just board wipes with 13, 14, 15, up to 17k. It's not okay for decks now. Decks are back in a position that puts them in a really, really hot seat to be back as one of the best type teams in the game, literally just by adding one unit that can do something so disgusting like half stats. So Big Mom is very, very good. I'm a big fan of the unit. Let me know your thoughts and opinions and where you like to run her in the comment section below. While you're down there, don't forget to belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.